Have you ever thought about what's going to happen when you leave this earth? And I'm not talking about where your spirit's going to go. I'm Christian. I believe in heaven. I want to believe that there's a heaven. I want to go to heaven. But what I can control myself in my life is the example that I set for other people. And so the idea of writing a eulogy, right, is what's going to be said when you're not here anymore. What's going to be said when you pass away? What do you want to be remembered for? How do you want to be looked at? What matters to you? For me, what matters the most is how my family's going to view me and the people that I love. My sons, I have two boys at the time that I'm doing this. I hope God blesses me with more children and a daughter, because my wife tells me I need to make a girl or she's going to, punch me in the stomach somewhere. But so hopefully my baby girl, hopefully maybe multiple girls, we'll see what God's plans are. But my boys, what are they going to say currently? I'm in control of what example do I set? My wife, right? What do I want my wife to be able to say about our marriage? So I wanted to share my personal points on what I want my sons to say, what I want my wife to say, and how I'm designing my life or building my life, right, with that in mind so that I can model those things now. So for me, these are different points that I want my sons to be able to say. Ready? At a funeral, I want my son to be able to say, Dad lived by 11 principles. Even though he's not here anymore, those principles live on in us. Principle number 1, serve God. What does that mean, serve God? I believe we were all created. I believe there's certain universal laws. I think in order for a law to exist, somebody needs to make that law, right? Who gave that law, created that law, right? And I believe in God. I believe when you look at the universe and you say, hey, if there was an explosion, in an explosion, is there any kind of real order in chaos, right? Not really. So when you look at the way that it's tilted, the way that the world is tilted, and how we circle around the sun, and a little bit more and we burn up, a little bit less and we freeze, right? You look at the perfection, and I understand that, the atheist belief system that, hey, you know what, if there was so much order, look at how much struggle there's been for the human species. I totally understand that part, but I believe that there's a God. I want to believe that. I choose to believe that. I'm going to model my life by that. I'm going to serve other people. So when I say serve God, what does that mean? That means serving people, right? If God created people, right, for you to serve people, for you to do His will, I ask God every day, God, help me to do your will today. I want my boys to be able to see that. I want my boys to have a relationship with the Creator. I want my boys to have a faith. I want my family to be rooted in faith. And I want to be able to serve people. So serving God is serving people. Number 2, be a provider and a protector. Second to God for me is family, because God gave me my family. So what does that look like? Be a provider, right? Meaning work your tail off so make sure your family doesn't have any needs that you can't meet. There's a difference in I choose not to give you that versus I can't give you that, or I can't afford to give you that. So what does that look like? I never wanted my wife to have to work if she chose not to. I met my wife later. I had built a business as an individual, single guy building a business. Met my wife at that time, her background, my background, what we wanted, family, kids, things like that. And we made that decision. Hey, you're going to take care of the kids. I'm going to build the business, and then we're going to build our family. So that was important to me. She doesn't have to work for somebody. If she chooses to, she can. She can do whatever she wants, but she doesn't have to. That nobody else has to write her a check. Nobody else can tell her where to be if she doesn't want to be there. For my wife to be free, that's a priority, to be a provider, that we live in the best community, that we experience what the world looks like, that we can vacation, that the kids can go to the best schools, that my family could have the best things possible because I chose to work. So be a provider. There was times where I was lazy and I was distracted and I was young, and I totally get guys like that. I don't judge them. I believe anybody can change. But I wanted that respect as the husband. I wanted that respect as dad, as that father, as that hero to my family. I think a lot of us want to be the hero to our family, but we don't want to have to do the work that requires to win so that those people can say, hey, that's what's possible when you commit to being the best that you can. So be a provider, being a protector, right? Making sure that your family's protected against what? Against the economy, against other people having control over your family, against certain environments that you don't want your kids to be in, that you can provide and create because you worked your tail off. You can create the environment that you want, the neighborhood you want, the school system that you want, the teaching that you want, the private tutoring that you want, that you can protect your family in all aspects, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Be the provider for your family and the protector. Protect their minds, right, from other people imposing. Protect their hearts for what's going to come in the future and what they're going to face. Heartbreak, disappointment, disillusion, failure, right? So that protector, that doesn't just mean physical protection, emotional protection, spiritual protection. Help them to build a relationship with God. Help them to build their spiritual life, right? So that's point number 2. Number 3, family comes first. Before anything and everything, always, forever. Number 1 is family for me. That's above anything and everything. And I think that's where it should be for all of us. I think if we all took care of our family that way, that our families would be better, your family's better, your community's better. So family comes first before anything and everything. Number 4, love people. Right? If you go through this world and you're able to accomplish all these great things, but you don't love people, you don't care about people, you don't care about their life, their dreams, their goals, their minds, their hearts, their spirit. If you don't care about other people, there's an emptiness in this world. You know, I think that there's something that's spiritual about you giving a piece of yourself to other people and helping other people and believing in other people and encouraging other people and supporting other people and inspiring other people and pushing other people. And I think everybody needs that. I don't think anybody gets to the end of their life without having somebody that's invested into them. I know that I've had many people invest into me that have changed my life. And so love people, invest in people. Number 5, give your very best. All right, that's all that's asked of us. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I can give my very best, and I can keep learning from my mistakes to keep getting better. I can keep getting better. So when you give your very best, it allows you to keep getting better as well. You have peace, even if you lose, even if things don't work out, but you gave your very best. That insecurity, that fear, that anxiety, it's not inside of you because you gave everything that you have to that. So I want to be able to say, man, I gave it my very best. I want my kids to be able to say that. It doesn't matter if it's school, if it's sports, if it's your marriage, anything and everything, give it your very best. Next one, priorities over pleasure. That's a value that I want to teach my kids. I want my sons to be able to say that when they're thinking about how they're going to make a decision, that they remember, man, dad said priorities over pleasure. School instead of maybe games. Get practice done instead of hanging out with friends. Wake up early, hit the gym, right? Before maybe watching cartoons or TV or whatever they do. Like priorities over pleasure. Growing, reading instead of watching the TV. Working hard instead of hanging out. Like, put the priority first, then the pleasure comes, Give your very best. Work your tail off. Priorities over pleasure. I think today it's pleasure over priorities. Your family, your marriage, your relationships, your health, your faith. Priorities over pleasure. Define what those priorities are and then build them into your schedule. Build them into your life. And let your schedule and the way that you live your life reflect your priorities. That wasn't something always that I did, and I had to improve in this area. And I think anybody can if they want to. Next one, always look for the positive in every negative. I think there's a billion, million, 100 million, whatever number you want to use, things are going to go wrong in your life, right? Things are always going to go wrong. There's going to be challenges, there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be disappointment. So what do you do in that moment? What is the positive? What can you learn from this? How could you have avoided this? What will you do next time, right? How do you take this mistake, this situation, and allow it to make you better? There's always good in every failure if you're willing to look for it. So always look for the positive in every negative. That perspective, that attitude to say, man, this sucks. Well, what good can come from it? I think that's powerful, and I don't think that's something that's natural. I think that is something that you train yourself to do, and all of a sudden you start looking at adversities as opportunities. So train yourself in that mental aspect. Next one, give to people in need. Give to people in need. Why? It's when you give, there's a certain feeling that you have that you're satisfied. Why? I think God put that in us for us to say, man, I want to help other people. I feel good when I help other people. It's selfish too. I feel good. I feel like I'm doing my job. I feel like I'm lifting somebody up. So how can you help more people? I've never met anybody at the end of their life to say, you know what, man, I helped too many people. It's not something I'm really proud of, right? But I've heard a lot of people say, man, I didn't help as much. I didn't do as much. I didn't give as much. I didn't love as much. And I don't want those regrets. So I try to live with these things in the frame of my mind right now so that when I'm making a decision and I can ask myself that question, well, what are your 11 priorities, George? Right? What are your priorities? Man, love people. Okay, how do you love people in this moment? Right? If you get clear on what your priorities are, then you can test your life and your experiences against your priority list to see how can I do better. Next one, make time for friends. Right? I'm building a business. I'm building a dream life. I'm winning for my family. I'm spending time with family. I have my own personal things. There are certain people in my life that matter, and there's a friendship there, and I want those people to know that. So when there's an opportunity to spend time there, be intentional about it, but spend time with friends, real friends. And what is a real friend, right? But spend time with the right people in your life. Spend time, invest into people, invest into relationships. Make time for friends. Next one, learn and teach. Learn and teach. Learn and teach. Learn anything and everything you can. Teach it to other people. We all need help. Nobody's born with all the knowledge that they need to live life to the fullest. So it's something that they've learned along the way from somebody that's taught them. Well, I learned it from a book. Well, somebody wrote the book. So they learned it, they're teaching it. Learn and teach. And the last 2 points, right? Love, leave people and this world better than you found it. We've all heard that, but do we do it? Leave people and leave this world better than you found them, better than you found it. I don't think enough of us think that there is a life and a world outside of us. And you're going to die, and we're not going to be here forever. And at the end of the day, the next generations are going to be living in the environment, in the belief systems, in the philosophies, in the culture, in the economy that we created, that our decisions produced. So leave people and leave the world better than you found it. And lastly, this is just something I want them to say. I couldn't have asked for a better father, mentor, coach, and best friend. I couldn't have asked for a better father, mentor, coach, and best friend. Love you, Papi. That's what I want my children, my boys, to be able to say about their dad when dad's in the ground, wherever I'm at, whatever time that is, whatever age that is for them, right? And I just pray that God allows me to be able to see them have a family, somebody that loves them, make sure that if they want kids, that they have their children. I pray that God allows me to see that this person is whole, that they're steady, that they're strong before I leave this earth. But that's something that I want my boys to be able to say. And I'll finish with the last part, which is something that I wrote that I think is very important for you guys. It's something that's very important. This is the problem with phones. You click on something and it takes you somewhere else. That I want my wife to be able to say at my funeral, okay? I want her to be able to say this. My husband was my best friend. He committed himself to me and our family. He exceeded the vows he made over 50 years ago. See, I want her to be, I'm creating this picture in my mind where God says, hey man, I'm going to let you celebrate 50 years with your wife. Now, I met my wife later. Maybe some of you guys are going to get more time than that. Maybe some of you guys are going to get less time than that. It's about you getting at that moment. What's the best at this very moment in my life? What can that look like? And paint that picture, because if you don't sell yourself the damn dream, nobody else will. You're in charge. God gave you the ability to create. So paint the pictures that you want. He exceeded the vows he made over 50 years ago. He was the best father to our kids, to our grandkids. He left a message to watch each day the rest of my life. The day he passed away, I got a knock at the door. It was a flower delivery. When I grabbed the note, it was from him, and it read, I may not physically be there, but I'm always with you. You will get flowers every week for the rest of your life. Every time you see them, I want you to smile and remember a beautiful memory we shared. This will be delivered with a picture of us. My love, I'm waiting for you in God's timing. We will be together again. I promise to wait for you here in heaven at the gate so I can greet you after you pass Jesus. I offered to put in a good word for you, but he said he knew I was a troublemaker and you already had put in a good word for me. I will behave myself up here. Please remind our kids and grandkids how much I love them and believe in them. When you see the signs that make you think about us, know those are whispers of how much I love you and kisses on your neck. You can see he was a planner. He even planned this. He took care of all the matters so we would have peace at the time to process. Today will be a celebration of his transition to be with God, not his death. We are sad because we miss him, but we will be together again. Love you. Love bug. Right? That matters to me. I get emotional reading that. Why? Because damn it, man, you're going to live one freaking life. Why not find out what the hell are my priorities? What do I look like? What matters to me? Why did God make me this way? What matters to me? And guess what, man? We may share some of these. Or you may say, man, George, I love that. I'm going to borrow some. I didn't come up with these. I borrowed them from other people, other people that I saw them value certain things. I was like, man, I want to be more like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think the mistake is that we believe that we have this figured out and that you're just supposed to be who you're supposed to be. That's what I thought. Maybe I'm not supposed to be this guy. Maybe I'm not supposed to have this life. And I'm so thankful for forgiveness and recreation that God can redeem people, man. Because I was redeemed. I wasn't this person. I never thought I could even be this person. It was a person I admired to be that I never thought I'd get to. But every day, if you just work on becoming that person a little bit more than you were yesterday, eventually years go by. And all of a sudden, you start catching yourself modeling some of the things that you wrote down that weren't important. And then other people say, hey, man, I know that's what he lived for. I know that's what he lived by. You know, that's who he really was. And I don't want to be remembered for being remembered. I want to transform people's lives, starting with my family and starting with yours. And I hope this video impacted you to get clearer on what you want to be remembered for and who you want to be. Figure it out, guys. Take care, everybody.